So it's been about a week now since the whole Will Smith saga happened on Sunday.
Exactly a week, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So a lot of girls were messaging me like, you don't understand. He was protecting his wife. He was defending her honor, right? And I said this to you, and I could understand that a lot of women in their personal lives and their relationships have felt abandoned by their partners when needed most, right? They felt like their partners didn't have their back when they were being attacked by other people, not physically, but just like, verbally or whatever, and they would have liked to have somebody who has their back. So they see this incident like, that's somebody who has their partner's back, and that's beautiful. I could understand a bit of that logic behind it. Right?
Okay, but?
So it's twofold. First off, you have to imagine, let's say it's you, a regular person, and your significant other goes and hits a comedian who says a joke about you while they're on stage. There's a fight that breaks out, cops get involved, your significant other goes to jail for assault. Do you still think that's a beautiful act? Do you think that's a wonderful thing that they're going to get a criminal record, potentially lose their job, life, because they decide to attack somebody doing their job?
It was only a beautiful moment because Will didn't get snuffed.
There's something very fascinating in this whole thing.
You got to take care of your beautiful moment on the ground. Knock the fuck out.
That happened to DC Young Fly.
Yeah.
Somebody jumped up on stage with him, and he ended up knocking that dude out. The dude went to jail.
DC was just defending himself.
Yeah, because the dude was coming at him. He's like, yo, what's going on, right? Now, he's got the lawyers and stuff like that, and he's got the connections. He's going to be able to avoid all that. But for a lot of poor people, that's not the case. And we're fortunate it ends with a slap, because most dudes, you go to slap them in their face, a lot more breaks up afterwards. So, to me, I'm like, how do you view that as a beautiful thing that you expect your male partners to physically go after somebody, okay, who said something you didn't like or that hurts your feelings? Also, the second thing is like, you can't make fun of somebody's wife. Well, all the times that you guys were shit-talking celebrities and actresses for doing a bad job, making fun of them, doing your little Twitter replies, that was somebody's wife? What about somebody's daughter? What about somebody's sister? Can you talk shit to them? No, you can't. If you think about it, everybody's somebody to somebody. You can't talk about somebody's mom that way. Someone's daughter, someone's sister. Every woman is somebody. Can we say anything about it, but only wives? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? You guys are acting like they took a stranger, some random person. No, she's a famous person. She's a celebrity who does movies. And a joke was said about her. Can we no longer joke about women in general? Now, you can, Abba. You can. But if some shit happens afterwards, well, some shit happens. I think it's such a...
Say it.
I think it's such a weird reply.
Say it.
When something terrible happens, okay, something that we all agree shouldn't happen, and your reply is, well, shit happens.
Say it.
So next time a woman gets assaulted, next time a woman gets raped, what were you wearing? It's the same thing.
Because
you said something, you deserved it.
Some shit happens.
Really?
It's the same. It's the same rhetoric.
It's the same train of thought.
It's the same train of thought.
It's the same train of thought. Can we? Let me ask you guys. Can we say anything about women in public? Period. Yeah, you can, but something's gonna happen to you. We can talk about men as much as we want, but women we can't talk about them. We equal, but you can't talk about women. What are we talking about, bro? What's the line? As long as someone feels disrespected, well, you can't control how someone's going to react. Agreed. We can't control how someone's going to react. Doesn't mean we have to condone it or say it's acceptable or sensible or logical. We can't control someone's react. Well, what happens if it's a schizophrenic person who stabs you in the neck because you looked at them? You can't control how someone's going to react. We're looking at irrational responses and we're saying, like, we're justifying it in a kind of quasi-world. That's what a lot of people are doing. They're justifying it. I'm just confused. I sit back and I look at a lot of stuff and I'm like,
That's weird.
It is. Big fan of Chris Rock's. I'm not saying I'm the craziest fan, but I've always liked his work.
Yeah.
But Will Smith in particular. I remember living in Ethiopia and having satellite TV and I'd watch that shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing him fall from grace like this was especially sad.
Yeah, but it can happen to anybody of us.
We agree. But it's always different when it's your quote-unquote metaphorical heroes, if you will.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was like the beacon of like representation, like cool representation in a lot of ways for me growing up. Yeah. Fresh Prince was a big deal for me.
It was a big deal for me too. That's how I learned English.
And he's a symbol of that. I don't think of the other actors when I think of Fresh Prince. Though they're all great, it was him that made the show. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's just like seeing that was so sad. And it was just funny also seeing like it was like 4 years ago. It was like Oscar so white. This year is like nigga moments.
And it's funny because
The transition.
Chris Rock had that bit.
What?
The difference between black people and niggas.
Yeah, and that was the most nigga. That was so goddamn. Let me know if you agree with this. I feel like, and this is more so the racial angle for me. I feel like with black men, a lot of times some of them have like a very fragile sense of masculinity.
I told you that.
It's like the slightest offense is immediately we go into fisticuffs. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we've been emasculated just in our vocabulary, just in the way we use our vocabulary, where we talk about each other. You know what I mean? Just roll the monologue, the entering monologue of Baby Boy. Remember that movie? When he talk about
Tyrese?
that? Yeah, when he talk about the house is a crib, everything's a baby boy, everything. Yo, what up, son? Everything is it's emasculating. You know what I mean? Everything is like that. And so we always kind of have to prove. The society kind of puts us in the bus and kind of baby us in a way, in a sense, you know? Like we don't know how to act and shit. So we always have to prove that we ain't no sucker. And it's like that in the community. We ain't no punk. We have to step up. You know what I mean? And you know what? I do that too. It's I'm not pointing fingers at you. Whenever the fuck we had the thing with Fresh and Fit, I had to be like, oh, you want to throw down? Let's throw down. I could have let that shit go. But you challenged me. Let's go. It's really hood. Although, if anybody would have challenged me, I would have done the same thing. And that's when it's not a black or white or whatever thing. You want to challenge me, I'll take the challenge. But then again, it comes with that. It comes with traumas. It comes with motherfuckers been messing with me for my whole life. So I'm like, no, today I got the possibility and I got time. I'm not letting this shit pass.
It's also partially where you come from. When you from poor backgrounds, you already know somebody come to step to you, you can't afford to be a pussy.
No.
Because then they gonna come again.
They're gonna come again and do
sharks.
that. It's like being robbed all the time. Whenever they think, yo, break yourself, fool.
Yeah.
Yo, take your shoes off.
Yeah.
But then they're gonna come back around and you go.
And so that's why they always tell you, even if you got no money, you gotta still earn your respect.
Yeah, you gotta show that.
So there's that sense of it too, right? I agree with that 100%. I think there's a financial aspect to it. I think there's a racial aspect to it. But it's like, well, black folks is like, even the gay stuff. Like, I say the whole pod shit, like, jokingly. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Some niggas say it seriously.
Yeah, definitely.
They don't even want to be associated with anything that might,
not.
like, limit their masculinity just a tad
Absolutely.
bit. Right? So so Will Smith also speaks about it. He's like, I've always felt like a coward my whole life. And he talks about his insecurities with Jada and Tupac and all that stuff. What that looked like was deep insecurity, didn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And I can understand the feeling. That's the thing. I can understand the feeling. I understand that. Right. Because it's that. It's been that. At some point when you grow up, I grow up and I'm a kid and like I told you, that's the thing. That's a word that was said to me all the time because I was dancing or because of whatever reason,
The hag word.
Hag word.
Yes.
Exactly. So you come up to a spot, a point in your life that has been said so much, then you're like, say that shit one more time. See what happens. Say that shit one more time. See what happens. And that's why when we had the video I was talking to about, I understand Will.
Yeah.
I don't agree. I know it's not the right thing to do. That was not strength.
No.
That was not protection. That was ego. Straight up. That was say that shit one more time because of all the accumulation. So, and I understand that. I'm not saying it's right, and we all got our shit. But when you get in the position, that's where whenever you get to a position, you see how the effect that it has. To do that in 4K, that's Exhibit A.
Yep.
Straight up.
So here's the other side of the coin.
Go ahead.
Even though I think what he did is wrong, I think you and I can both agree. There are circumstances that if somebody was joking enough, you probably entitled to slap that motherfucker in the face. So let me give you an example.
Context is different.
Context is different.
That's
context is different. So here's an example. Him making those comments in the context of a comedy show or a set at an award show where your job is to roast people as you have been doing for the last decade at these award shows. Got no problem with it. Shut the fuck up and take the joke on the chin. Now, if a motherfucker roll up on you on the street and start talking crazy like that, I think that's a bit different. Do we all agree?
Context.
You get what I'm saying? If you're rolling with your family members, your significant other, your wife, your kids, your brothers or whatever, and somebody come and talk shit to you in the street for no reason, talking about, hey, you bitch, you bald, this and that, I think slapping them, most of us would agree, we get it. You don't have to come back. I get it. I won't even hold you.
But I'm not going to encourage it.
I'm not. Hey. If it's my kid and you talk crazy to my kid,
I would, like I said, I wouldn't promote it, but I know what I would do at that time. And I would definitely more not encourage it because I don't know what's going to unfold after that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I get it. But you have to understand, people, context is very important.
Yes.
It's important in a joke. It's important in some things that you say. It's important in everything and how things are said.
That's
Context is the common denominator for a lot of things, for if things are good or bad. So the context of we're joking, there's a lot of ways that you're going to handle this. And I guess it's a lesson for all of us.
Yeah.
It is a lesson for all of us. It's not just, it's cool to point fingers at this and that and be like, yo, this is wrong and shit like that. But my daddy always told me, whenever you point your fingers at someone, remember that you got three fingers pointing back at you. That's why I always point like this. But that's a different thing. I digress.
yeah. Today, people have convinced themselves that their feelings matter more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
That because they feel something, everything is justified thereafter. She felt really hurt by the joke. Does this motherfucker know she got alopecia? Does she know that it's a big thing she struggles with? According to her scrub, he didn't know.
Even if she...
But she felt some type of way, so it's justified. Does that make sense to you guys? That somebody who doesn't even know you have a condition makes a comment? What if you're just swearing? Hey, fuck, cunt! And this person doesn't know you got Tourette's. Like, man, you being rude and like disrespectful right now. They don't know you got Tourette's. They don't even know what Tourette's is. They think you're just screaming. You gonna get to punch them in the face? They don't know what you got going on. And let's keep it a stack. Everybody saw Jada's bald head, and if she hadn't said some shit like, Jada feeling special today, whatever. You got a nice head to be bald, go ahead. You know what I mean? So like, I just can't understand how you sit there and you're like, well, you feel some type of way, and if you feel hurt, everything's justified afterwards. Really? Because you feel hurt, everything afterwards is sensible? What about the other person's individual who may not know about what you're going through? Were they being completely negligent in that? Or is there some reason that they may not know what you're going through? You having a bad day, great. That doesn't entitle you to be a piece of shit to people. You feeling terrible doesn't mean you get to go punch folks. Because if it did, bro, there'd be a lot of violence in these streets right now. A lot more. Every time you had a bad day, someone says something to you, it can set you off, you get to punch them in the face. But that's how folks are justifying things. It's crazy to me. And this is also like the same thing that says like, yo, punch a Trump supporter, punch this. You don't like somebody's opinion, it makes you feel some type of way. You don't like who they support, what candidate. You want to engage in physical violence. Like, it's crazy to me how willy-nilly we've gotten with some of this stuff.
Oh, it happened. And guess what happened? Guess what happened?
Yeah.
Some people died and someone had to defend himself. His name is Kyle Rittenhouse. That's what happened. Someone was not agreeing with him being there with a firearm. They chased him and tried to take his firearm away. And try to hit him with a fucking... I
think it's more complicated. That specific situation is more complicated. But here's an example. I'll give you.
Go ahead.
They published some article, I believe this was in Chicago, saying like a lot of the violence over there stemmed from arguments on Facebook. Somebody would say something they didn't like or post a picture they didn't like. They go up in the streets, they shoot them up. Over things that are said, they felt slightly disrespected. They think, boom, if you disrespect me, I can't let that shit stand.
Yeah.
I gotta kill you.
I can.
I gotta kill you. Does that seem sensible?
That's crazy.
This is the next evolution, though, of these kinds of feelings, right?
Definitely. He was just protecting his own honor. He was just protecting his honor.
When did we go medieval in this bitch? Turn to knights and armor and shit.
Took my glove off, slap a bitch. And then after that, yo, let's go. We're going in the streets.
Anyways, let us know what you guys think.